Let's talk about a real-life encounter that went down in the pitch black of the open ocean. And no, this isn't some Hollywood blockbuster. This is the story of a 45-minute standoff, a true test of cold steel meeting iron discipline. So picture this. It's 5:17 in the morning, utter darkness, out in international waters. Suddenly on the radar screen of a U.S. supercarrier, a single lone blip appears. And it's moving fast. We're talking 20 knots, then 24, then 26, and it's heading right for them. This is no mistake. This is a challenge. You can just imagine the quiet on the bridge of that carrier. Every single person, their eyes glued to that screen, watching the vectors tighten. The big question in the air had to be, who in their right mind would dare play chicken with a 100,000-ton floating fortress? What happens next is just a masterclass in psychological warfare. See, this fight isn't about who has bigger guns. It's about who has better technology. And more importantly, the chilling refusal to fire first. That becomes the ultimate weapon. The game is on. And that number, 26 knots, is everything. You have to understand, out in the middle of the ocean, a ship doesn't just punch the gas like that by accident. It's a signal. It tells you there's a hand on that throttle with a very clear and very dark purpose. It's screaming hostile intent. So how does a simple speed reading turn into a threat? Well, it all comes down to what the Navy calls the geometry of intent. It's about taking raw data, speed, heading, distance, and letting it paint a picture for you. And trust me, in this world, the numbers do not lie. Deep inside the carrier, supercomputers are running nonstop calculations on something called the CPA, or closest point of approach. Basically, how close are these two ships going to get? And that number, it isn't just getting smaller, it's plummeting towards zero. That's the mathematical signature for a collision course. And right here is where you see the carrier's real advantage. Its combat system isn't just tracking the target. Oh no, it's eating it alive with data. Every single electronic signal, every tiny shift in speed, it's all being hoovered up, analyzed, and recorded. They're building a digital case file of this whole provocation second by second. So what does the carrier do? Absolutely nothing. It holds its course. And that stillness, that refusal to flinch, is its most powerful weapon right now. It's sending a message loud and clear without saying a word. We are the bedrock of this ocean. We don't swerve. You want to do this? We're right here. Well, the mystery of who this aggressor is doesn't last long. At 6:08 a.m., the long-range optical sensors get a lock. And just like that, this whole thing goes from being a tense traffic incident to a full-blown geopolitical powder keg. The images that come back are crystal clear. You can see the angular hull, a really distinctive mast, and you can see exposed missile launchers. This is not some lost fishing boat. It's a warship, and its flag is Iranian. I mean, just look at the matchup here. It's almost absurd. On one side, you've got this 100,000-ton titan of naval engineering, and on the other, a ship that's basically a steel dart in comparison. You have to wonder, is this bravery, or is this just a massive, dangerous miscalculation? But the Iranian ship just doubles down. Their engines are clearly pushed to the max. You can see figures on the deck with hands on their weapons, and, this is key, they are maintaining total radio silence. That silence is a statement. But here's what they're forgetting. Every silent second just makes the digital record against them even more damning. The gap between the ships is closing fast. There is zero room for error left. So, the carrier strike group kicks off the next phase of deterrence. And this isn't some panicked reaction. It's a calm, calculated, almost surgical procedure. First, an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter lifts off. It's not going in for an attack, not yet. Its job is to seize the ultimate high ground, hovering right above the Iranian vessel. And then comes the masterstroke. They switch on a laser designator. A single, thin green beam cuts through the dark and settles right on the bridge of the Iranian warship. Now, being lased like that has got to be one of the most terrifying feelings in the world. The laser itself won't hurt you, but its message is unmistakable. We have a weapons lock on you. A missile could be on its way in seconds. That visual threat, plus a cold, professional warning broadcast in both English and Farsi, is the final checkmate in this psychological chess match. And at precisely 5:42 a.m., that wall of bravado just crumbles. Not a single shot was fired, but the defeat was deafening. The provocateur blinked.
On the carrier's sensors, they see it plain as day. The wake behind the Iranian ship just shrinks almost instantly. It's a dead giveaway that they've slammed the engines in reverse. That 26-knot charge drops to 20, then 15. The aggression just evaporates. Now they're just scrambling to get out of the kill zone.
And then, only then, after all that radio silence, a voice finally crackles over the radio from the Iranian ship. And what do they say? United States naval vessel, we are conducting routine patrol. Just a clumsy lie to cover their tracks. The carrier's reply is pure ice. All your actions have been recorded. Maintain your distance. So what's the big lesson here? The US didn't win because they could blow a small ship out of the water. They won because they controlled everything. The space, the time, the tempo of the whole engagement. In this new era of warfare, discipline and data are the ultimate weapons. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. True power, absolute power, isn't just about having the ability to destroy your enemy. It's about having the incredible discipline not to fire, especially when they're begging you to. And that 45-minute standoff is a perfect, chilling example of that very idea.